2, 1. Hey folks, we're back. I'm your host BKP. We're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, Georgia, and here you go. There you go.
It's
the all-star political panel. Can't get it anywhere else. Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
And
very much.
Did you enjoy your travels?
I enjoyed it very much.
Did you?
Yes.
Good.
We had a lovely time.
Lovely. Right.
Lovely weather.
Yeah, really, a little rain.
We don't want to hear about it.
So you put on the grass skirt and thrashed your hips.
We do not want to hear about your weather because we have been,
why did I miss that one?
an inch of rain here, an inch of rain there, so we don't want to hear about no weather. Okay. Wonder if we have anything to talk about. So what we'll do is Monday through Thursday, I get all the time I want on the program to say how I feel, what I think, and sometimes get a little excited and give my opinion. But it's this time right here I like to give these guys an opportunity to pick a topic, go with it. Where do we want to start, Rick?
Coup d'etat.
Oh, thank you. Okay, good.
Coup d'etat.
Now explain. Now our folks out there don't have to have it explained to them. I know our audience, but we might have one or two. So
okay.
let's dig in there a little bit and explain.
Well,
that
when McCabe came out to start his book tour, he described how the inner workings of the top echelon of the FBI and the DOJ was working together to try to implement the 25th Amendment to show that the president didn't have the mental capacity
unfit for office
to continue as our legally voted in president of the United States. He came right out and said that.
Conspiracy.
McCabe initiated investigations. The DOJ and the now I know you wonder why every time the media, the deep state media, has a fit when the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, doesn't immediately sign on to all NSA, opinion, right? I, for one, think, it's time to push back against these behemoths, and he does. We find out that the acting director, along with Rod Rosenstein and a couple others, we're actually meeting, Well, some say Stein, some say Steen, so I give him the credit.
I don't know what it is.
You cover both the bases.
Right, cover all.
Stein,
but
Steen,
the point is what you're going to, is they were actually orchestrating a coup.
Right, it was a low-level coup to try to, or high-level, however you want to put it.
Well, bloodless though, bloodless coup.
Yeah, a bloodless coup to try to overthrow a legally elected government official.
And
he just happened to be the president.
I understand in the meeting that they actually, well, first of all, I think we're going to find out if Rosenstein really was going to wear a wire.
5 times they said it was mentioned. This isn't just hearsay. This is firsthand information about the fact that they said you need to wear a wire going in there. You go meet with the president. It wasn't just I just flippantly said that.
Like,
did he flippantly say it 5 times? I don't think so.
I mean,
McCabe said
stepping back, do you think McCabe is saying a lot of this stuff just to push his book?
Well, if he did, then he ought to be in jail because he's lying.
Well, these guys never go to jail, so it doesn't matter. Well, they know it.
I think that's going to change when Bill Barr, who just got affirmed yesterday, confirmed.
Bill Barr being our new attorney
general.
Now, I don't want to jump around too much, but you are leading into some good things because this is our new attorney general and the Department of Justice. We have a coup that we hear. Now, they had meetings, and in the meetings, I understand they were zeroing in on cabinet positions and saying, this one may go with us.
Exactly, and Pence.
Right. This one may break, because we'll never go with us.
They need the cabinet secretaries and the vice president to push the 25th Amendment. What
the 25th Amendment is, you get time to read it. Now, is there is something in our Constitution that if at a time the president is unfit to lead, could be unfit to lead. Realistically, a lot of people don't realize they enacted the 25th Amendment with Ronald Reagan when he got shot, right?
It was originally enacted during the Woodrow Wilson administration. What they were trying to do was simply guard against something like an unforeseen stroke or a heart attack.
Like we have on the Supreme Court with RBG.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You barely can do the job.
But what I'm saying is, and I don't want to get this wrong, fact check me, but
it came out during the Woodrow Wilson administration.
Yeah, but Reagan transferred power for a short period of time.
Yes.
A lot of Americans don't realize there was a short period of time that there was a transfer of power from Ronald Reagan. And when
they enacted the 25th Amendment.
Before he went into surgery.
Correct.
Was that the Alexander Haig thing?
No, that was when Al Haig came out and told people he was in charge.
I'm in charge.
Hey, I got it.
I got this.
Oh, this is a fun group. I swear to God. That is the fun group. And I will tell you this. We'll get past that, but Ronald Reagan, the Reagan Diary, okay? Get a copy. I love the Reagan Diary. It's something you can read a couple pages every day. You can just pick anywhere you want in his administration. But what Ronald Reagan writes about Al Haig in his diary is really enjoyable. Go and look up Al Haig, what Ronald Reagan writes during the time he was shot.
It wasn't laudatory.
When you kicked off this segment, you said, where do you want to go? I think, no, seriously, I think this is the most important thing in the news right now. You can take your walls, you can take your shutdowns.
I agree with you 100%.
I think it's irrelevant compared to that group of high-level individuals that have taken the time to try to take down the president.
What say you on the subject?
Oh, I say a lot. But
tell them what's.
Well, I think that they were doing all that for sure, but I think there was another element to the coup, and it would involve blood. I believe they had assassination plans for Trump, and one of them was just recently. People say that when Pelosi took her entourage of family of 93 to go out of the country, that was going to be a real attempt on Trump's life, and she would be out of the country. And then all they have to do is get rid of Pence. It wouldn't be hard because he's a lump on a pickle, and she'd be president. So
keep going, please.
Is that a mutated cucumber?
Yeah. I think that they're sinister, and they're not above murder. They've murdered before. That's just a fact.
Jane, I think what you said, not to interrupt you, dear, but I think what you said is right in line. We can debate the wall and our opinion of national emergency versus the bill he's going to sign.
Yeah.
We could talk about anything else, but I think you're 100% right. Now, what you're saying is you feel there's been assassinations attempts
several
that we're not aware of. I'm not shocked by that. I mean, it seems pretty tough what you're saying, but I'm with you because we're learning that I can't wrap my head around that the people from our FBI, Department of Justice, were talking about how to remove this person.
There was one reported, though. Do you remember way back in a motorcade? There was Trump. They were tipped off. Someone in the second car had a pistol, and he was gotten out of the car and arrested. You can look that up. That was one attempt.
What say you on this subject?
I'm just in awe of you guys going down this. I mean, I really don't have that big a feeling about it.
I'll show you something.
What you heard about McCabe and what the meeting and...
Yeah, but, I mean, I think we all know that government agencies for decades now have been doing stuff to get their own way. The IRS, Lois Lerner and that whole crew. They could do whatever they want against people, and nothing came of it. No convictions. They took the fifth, whatever it was. This has been going on for a long time. So I just,
I truly believe though that there's a new sheriff in town now, not Donald Trump, but Bill Barr.
Why do you feel that? Because you're strong about that, and you've said that several times. So share with our audience why you feel you're. Now I know you have some reservations on Barr. Do you not? Mm-hmm. Yes, you do. I know that. Okay.
Well, but I mean, the reservation that you've got is where he came from and who he served. He served under H.W. Bush.
No, the reservation I have is that he's been very close friends with Mueller for many, many years. So I'm saying
Well, it's an old boys club in
well,
D.C.
yeah. So there he is. Of course, he's with Bush. Bush. I mean, don't even get me started on Bush. But here's Mueller saying, yes, Bob Barr, and Mueller and I have been very close friends. The Muellers and the Barrs, very close friends. Mueller, you look at his lineage. I mean, he was with uranium, then he covered for there, then he was FBI, and then he and Rosenstein, then he and Comey. I mean, it's all just like that.
It's incestuous.
And I think he has to have known that Mueller was piled up in a bunch of poo-poo. And then are sensitive or something, and now here he is going to have to say to his admitted best friend, "You're guilty." I mean, I think it's going to be hard for him to do that.
I think.
Okay, so
my feeling about Barr,
yeah. All right, because I knew Jane had reservations. I wanted to get out what they were, and I understand where you're going with that. But why do you feel? I mean, I'm like this with Barr. I'm hopeful. Okay, I'm hopeful. All right, I'll go with that. But you have been advocating more for him.
We have a mutual friend that you know.
Yes, I know that.
That knows him very well.
Right, we talked about that.
And he came when he was the AG under 41. He came and spoke to his group, and they befriended each other, and they've stayed in contact. This individual friend of ours contends that he has the innate ability to separate friendships with the rule of law. He said he is the most strict rule of law guy that you will ever see. So that's as close as I can get to passing judgment on this guy without seeing any action.
I know where you're coming from, because I mean, both you and I have been in both have been in the same meetings discussing Attorney General Barr with this individual, and that's what this individual just told us directly. You know, this guy is straight down the line, and you're going to see. So,
but who's going to lead an investigation of this? I mean, is this going to be a House committee that would start an investigation, or the Attorney General?
Well, something will have to be referred to him, because they don't just start things on their own, I don't think.
Okay, but with the Democrats, on top of most of the
Senate
committees.
The Senate
can. They said they're going to.
Yeah.
Well, so you're hopeful. Barr is.
Well, Lindsey Graham has said right out of the box first day when McCabe came. I mean, half hour later, Lindsey Graham saying this guy's going to come back to appear in front of the Senate along with Rosenstein.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I understand that. And Congressman Doug Collins, our congressman, has actually made some comments, and has called this a coup and a coup attempt. I mean, our congressman called it a coup attempt on an interview he had yesterday.
Dershowitz has been all over it.
Absolutely. So I understand what you're saying, Bruce, because we're getting numb to some things. Right? Is that where you're at? It's
status quo. It has been for a long time.
And in the deep state internally has been doing this, whether it's through the IRS, whether it's through any of these behemoths that have been created.
Bruce and I, when we were on the show on Wednesday, when you had to go to your meeting,
after we calmed things down a bit.
Yeah, we talked, and I gave a shout out. Ask Josh. I gave a shout out to George McClellan, because he wrote a brilliant op-ed piece, and you can find it on FetcherNews.com. It's called The Extent of the Deep State. And I tell you what, if you haven't read that piece, I think it's really, really telling, and it really kind of encapsulates when the Clintons started in Arkansas and with Whitewater. And Comey was involved then. He was the guy on that deal, and he befriended them. And he's been covering for him ever since. Lois Lerner, like Bruce said, you can take it all the way up the line, but it's a great read.
Well, like Rick, let me just say something here real quick at this time. Take this opportunity. Our news division, FetcherNews.com, has an opinion section.
Right.
Okay, you can write. I have people say something all the time. You can write. For our opinion section, you send it in to info@FetcherNews.com, and he's talking about an opinion writer, George McClellan, and a piece that he wrote. So you can go to FetcherNews.com, just search George McClellan, and you'll find all his opinion pieces. But if you have an opinion on anything that you want to write, send it to us, and it can go on our opinion page. And trust me, we have millions of page views a month, and you will get your opinion out there.
As disturbing as this is, disturbing. Is this going to get lost in the noise of the new bill and the wall and all that stuff? Is it going to be pushed to stage 4?
I think it's already lost because what they will do is I watched MSNBC this morning, and they will roll out McCabe's book deal, and they will try to go to that side. They're already talking about it on the left, but they're talking about how serious the problem is with Trump, that they felt they needed to do something.
Even with the no collusion decision.
Right. So they're rolling the book deal out for McCabe as a positive for him, and how we should be thankful that some in America that there was people trying to save us from this evil Donald Trump.
And they've got Scott Pelley, the shill, for CBS, touting the 60-minute piece, which will air on Sunday night.
You know what I find interesting right now, not to switch gears, but how CBS got picked, because I believe, for you out there, I call it the deep state media, and I believe that ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, I believe they're all in cahoots. They all run the same narrative right down the road here, and they're working together. But it's like they all get different turns of running cover. So it might be MSNBC's week to run cover for something. But how did CBS get 2 things in a row? They got the Northam interview to run cover for him, okay, the governor from Virginia. CBS landed that. And obviously, if you watch that, changing gears, that interview, God, if that wasn't running cover for, I love Rush. What's his name? Ralph Northam, right? Northam, right? He does a great.
He does a pretty good job.
Ralph Northam there, and Virginia, and but anyhow, CBS got that interview and run cover. Now CBS has the McCabe interview. So I'm just kind of wondering how CBS.
Well, maybe because they're shopping themselves. They supposedly are, looking for a buyer, and so maybe the other networks say, hey, let's give these guys a little more stage time.
CBS is looking for a buyer?
Yeah.
Is that Viacom?
Go ahead.
Then that's a worry that the Viacom part of the venture will take it over. Like, just all the news people are all getting nervous.
Go ahead.
So something strange started happening to my, I think it's not
social
Panasonic.
media account?
No, my television. There's Sony, Panasonic, and there's, what's the other one?
LG.
Samsung.
LG.
Samsung.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were with our friend who's computer guru person, and we were at dinner, and he said, oh, by the way, have you heard about the Samsung and CBS collusion thing? And I said, no. He said, well, Samsung has downloaded CBS app on your Samsung computer, and you cannot
Your Samsung TV,
and you cannot get it off. And right then I said, about 3 weeks ago, our television, we're watching it, it goes black, and then a thing up here in this corner all by itself starts CBSN News right up there. I couldn't get it off. I couldn't make it go back. I didn't know how.
Really?
Called everyone, called this, called the cable. But what you do is now you push source, it opens it up, you have to take it back to what you're looking for. And like every 20 minutes for the first week, up CSB. And then on your bar when you want to go to Amazon or something, that CBSN is right in the middle of that bar.
Wait, is this your computer or your TV?
TV. Samsung has, and they downloaded it and see if yours. So some of them, and so I've been hacked, and I can't do.
You go to Amazon on your TV?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, yeah, wait. This is not coffee talk.
CBS.
This is not coffee talk with the group. Okay, let's say this is the all-star political
This
coffee
is important.
talk.
People need to look into CBS.
I didn't need anything on Amazon 65 inches. Excuse me.
Yeah, YouTube, everything. So, but CBSN has a thing. There's something.
Shift. It's like hockey. New shift coming in.
Yeah, new line.
Bring the new line in over the wall.
I'm connecting CBS with the government.
Okay, so the coup that we talked about. Let's. Although, does it disappear? Depends on what Lindsey
they
Graham.
Will never give
depends
up.
on what Lindsey Graham does because he's the guy running point on the Senate side.
Yeah, we got
okay.
Collins and Graham.
The wall, national emergency, the compromise. Who wants to go first on your feelings on the compromise? I'm going to kick off that I don't think.
Should we just leave now?
I'm going to kick off that I do not think the President of the United States should sign this. I do not. Now, I know
it's a piece of garbage.
Last night about 20 minutes after 5.
It's a piece of garbage. I agree with you.
Huh?
I agree with you.
Okay, the second thing, and then you got it. They have been looking for, the Democrats have been looking for something for 2 years to separate him from his base. They have been praying every day, oh, this will do it, this will do it. So every time the polling comes up, he is strong with that 38%. It will not move. No matter what he does, it will not move. They have been looking for the crack in the wall, no pun intended, in his base. And my opinion is when he signs it, they found it. I feel he's going to lose some base. I really do. I feel he's going to have some of his base say, you just can't sell me this piece of garbage and then tell me you're going to do a state of the emergency.
Well, you saw it in the vote. I mean, something like 55% of the Republicans voted against it in the House.
That's all we got. The other part are rhinos.
Right.
Well, I mean, the Democrats overwhelmingly supported it.
Duh.
Right. What say anybody? Okay, the piece of legislation, start wherever, take off.
I just couldn't believe he would even consider signing that. I had no clue he would sign that. Then McConnell came out, oh Mitchie baby, and said, "I'm going to
the turtle."
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it. And when he
Did
said,
you see that look I just got?
I'm going to encourage him to sign this. Right then I go, what? Uh-oh. Well, I'll tell you, I hope he won't sign it, but I will say that I think he's brilliant. And if he does sign it, he has a plan for it to backfire on them. I pray and I hope, because that's what's happened so far. I mean, I think it's a horrible bill. And if he signs it, I'll be disappointed, but I have to believe he has a plan. When he shut down the government, it made them look like they didn't really care. It didn't look so well for them either.
Well, I will say if he signs it, I just have
It's
to go
gonna be
straight.
bad.
My mental focus has to go straight to Hillary Clinton's not president. Hillary Clinton's not president.
There you
Hillary
go.
Clinton, and that's where
That's our mantra.
That's where I got to go.
Yeah.
That's how upset I'm going to be. Okay.
Yeah, maybe you need to go in the sweat lodge this weekend and just.
Gonna have to. Bruce, you're exactly right.
He has to have a plan.
Well, there's aromatherapy massage. Put me down for an aromatherapy massage.
Coffee table talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What say you? On
I agree with you that it from all accounts, again, none of us have seen the 1,200 pages, but the little bits and things that have come out sounds horrible.
All horrible.
I don't know if he's just focused on the big goal of the wall and all the other shit, can go by the boards.
Yeah, I agree. All that stuff is.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if he's looking 2 years ahead. He gets a different Congress. He can reverse it. He can. I don't know. I mean,
we don't know.
Chess versus checkers.
Okay, did you hear? Because there's so many things. Did you hear that actually it says the barrier cannot have concrete?
Yep.
Yeah, well, he was always talking about a big, beautiful steel wall anyway.
Yeah, but still,
that you can see through.
Yeah.
Yes, you
they
need
can't.
to see
Yeah, but they
through
can't
it,
use concrete. What are they doing with the steel? Are they not digging a foundation of a footer and pouring steel to hole?
I think.
Well, maybe it's visible concrete.
Yeah,
I don't know, but still, there's
but
things
like
We're saying it because he was going to build a concrete wall. It's just their little going.
Nothing.
Folks, we have a 2,000-mile border.
They're
We got
children.
55 miles, and some are saying that the 55 miles only includes actually repairing existing wall. I don't know.
But about a third of that 2,000 miles is mountains, and they're never going to build
I agree.
anything.
Geographically, a border wall is not necessary geographically all the way across. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I want to go on record as saying that I disagree with your assessment of him losing the base.
You were told to say that.
My wife told me to say that.
I'm sorry I had to do it to it.
No, but she said, "Come over here and see what I'm writing." And I said, "You go, girl." And I totally agreed with
her.
Oh,
I love her so much. I love it. She immediately comes back.
Bam.
So you wait a minute now. Go. What? No. What did you say?
I disagree with the fact that you said that his base is this is the first time, and you know that's a good theory. It really is. But I don't think that that's going to happen. I think his base is so solid, and they trust him so much because of what he's accomplished, that they're, like Jane said, he's brilliant, and they're all hopeful that he's got a backdoor plan to keep implementing his strategies.
But that's fine for his base. But I mean, to get reelected, he's going to have that group of crossover independents and Dems. And I mean, is he going to lose them on this?
Yeah.
No, wait a minute.
If you're checking, she's not tweeting you now.
No. But what I was going to say, I know you're not in the, on the social media world side of it, and I know the whole world is not Facebook. But I'll tell you what, I could take you through social media, and I could show you where it is blowing up.
Well, they need to get
some big time supporters are educated. Okay. They are educated. Well, all right, here's a gem, and this is from the Dustin Inman Society, okay? And I know who this is out here. Here's a gem from the spending bill. Section 224 says that ICE may not remove any sponsor or potential sponsor or member of a household of a UAC that's de facto sanctuary for anyone near a UAC.
Unaccompanied child.
Right. Ridiculous. 30 to 40%. Ridiculous. 30 to 40% of MS-13 arrests have been UACs. This is the stuff, and this is blowing up. I know you disagree, but I do think this is.
It's serious.
The scary thing is this is. Maybe small, but there's going to be a divide in his base now.
Okay, what about a continuing resolution for a week then, until he says no, I won't accept this, this, and this, even though he doesn't have line item.
That would be great. There's always a chance at 10 o'clock he's going to do that.
Yeah, there's a chance, and that's been talked about.
He's going to come out at 10.
He didn't sleep much.
10 a.m. in the Rose Garden.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. in the Rose Garden. The minute our show goes off, folks, you can click right over there. 10 a.m. in the Rose Garden. He's going to come out and address this. So. Okay.
They might put a week of continuing resolution in there.
So you disagree with me? Okay.
I disagree with you on the point that he's going to lose his base. There's going to be a crack in the.
He's going to make a lot of people really angry, and they're going to reconsider.
Well, they even said that there'll be a resolution coming out of the House, on something or other, and even if it goes to the Senate, they said Murkowski, Collins, all them could maybe cross over, so there'd be.
What did you tell me? 55 Republicans in the House said no, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to tell you that is a fracture in his base. You realize the ones that said no are the strongest to his base. I will guarantee you this. Go look at the 55 that said no.
55%. It was over 100. It was over 100.
Over 100. Yeah. So go look at the 100. We'll go with the 100. We'll just use a number for the point. Go look at those that said no to this. Then go to their district and see about their district and see the ones that said no on the Republican side. That's his base. I'm just telling you, that's his base. And if they said no, that translates to the people back home that have been calling their office and blowing up the phone saying, no, you don't vote for it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I just keep coming back to Mulvaney, though. When Mulvaney came on all the networks and said, and he admitted that the first shutdown had a negative effect on the economy. And I think, what?
No.
I think there'd be some serious backlash if he doesn't sign it, if he shuts it down.
All right, well, wait a minute.
Like we talked about when the shutdown happened and also this China deal. How much pain will Americans take?
Exactly. Bruce, you're 100% right.
We're going to have to take some pain to get over this.
But it's every subject.
Everything's so fast now.
Actually, what you said that day, right over here at Sycamore Crossing, you're 100% right, because I looked at you and you said, it's how much pain will the American people endure. And what you said that day actually doubles to every single subject, not just trade. How much pain will the American people endure to get the wall the right way? Folks, look at the $1 billion boondoggle that's been wasted out there in California on the bullet train, okay? You and I could sit here and we could do a whole show on the billions of dollars of waste, and we're talking about 5.7.
The bait and switch.
Okay.
That proposition passed in 2008. They didn't break ground on this thing till 2015. 7 years after they got approval from the voters by 53 to 47 to spend $10 billion. They've already spent $4 billion.
Yeah, 3.8, something like that. You're right.
And the new, you know, they're saying it's going to cost 77 billion to 100 billion to do the original.
I know I'm using some round numbers, but I understand, like,
it's crazy.
In this bill, $9 billion goes back into EPA.
Yes.
Dude.
Right?
Yeah.
We are totally reversing the 2 years.
That's what they're trying to do.
They're totally reversing the 2 years that we really took this behemoth, the EPA,
and stripped it.
And stripped it, and now they're pushing $9 billion back in.
Well, the thing is, the people that I said some people need to get educated, what I meant was they need to be more aware. Some people say this country can never be communistic, it can never be socialistic. If Hillary had won, it would have already been. I mean, our rights would be diluted. And with this green bill, we say that's ridiculous. Do you see how many people are standing behind it just to go out there and then get what they can get to come back?
Well, the Democrats are fear-mongering. They're saying, okay, the next president could say climate change is a national emergency.
Guns
could be a national emergency.
Climate change.
Where does it go?
The pain we have to go through is important because we will be socialistic or communistic if we.
Well, wait, but let me say this, okay? And yes, I'm upset with the deal. I don't think it is a deal. I think it's a joke to call it a deal. I get angry. No, I'm serious. I go to angry every time I hear the word damn bipartisan. Oh, that just shoots me to the moon when I hear bipartisan. I don't want to hear bipartisan and put people like Richard Shelby and Patrick Leahy together and then have the Jewish guy with the glasses on the tip of his nose say, Mr. President, sign this bill. I'm sorry. That just sends me off.
Chuck Schumer?
Yeah.
So I guess you're against reaching across the aisle.
Bruce, I know you didn't say it. Oh, could you hit him for me? Give him a shot. Now, I said Jewish guy. Obviously, I've blown up the whole world and I've offended everybody. But did you see how the
sounds like you're going to Minnesota?
I'm going to Minnesota, and the Muslim congresswoman. Okay, I'll say it if nobody else will. That does not like Jews. Period. This woman does not like Jews.
Yeah.
Did you see the attack on? Is it Abrams?
Elliot Abrams.
Elliot Abrams.
Yeah.
A Jewish fella the other day. Did you see that attack that she levied on him?
The senior ambassador to
Venezuela.
Yeah, he's a troubleshooter for Venezuela. Yeah.
Now, he did plead guilty in 1991 in the Iran-Contra to 2 counts of not conveying information to Congress, not sharing information, and they were misdemeanors. And I'm not making. And then he was immediately pardoned for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she took him to task.
Yeah, she treated him pretty rudely.
So, yes, she did. She's anti-Semitic, but now they're trying to turn around and say, well, look at what Trump has said over...
Oh, he talked about the Steyer and some of the other, Jewish billionaires that have supported the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, it's apples and oranges.
I don't think
it's not even the same.
It's
not even the same thing. No.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's a very weak attempt at a rebuttal.
Okay, well, listen, folks out there. I got some bad news. Not bad news, but bad news. They had a minor situation over at the Humane Society of Blue Ridge to where they're not able to bring a pet this morning because they have they're shorthanded and some things going on, so they can't bring a pet. Just got a message. So we're sorry to announce now that we're not going to have our pet of the week. Jessie Barton is here with us, but if she will move a couple minutes, can you be okay with that to close? Oh, she is. She has said she will.
It was a close vote.
North Georgia Senior Living will close our show today with Jesse Barton. Jesse and I will close the show today, so you do want to stay around for that. So that means you have a couple more minutes. That's what I was getting to. So pick another subject. Pick something out there. Who's next?
We're going straight through, right? No break.
No break.
Okay.
I should take a break, but I'm not going to.
Okay, cool.
I want to give you all the time, Bruce. What's your subject? Bring it up. What do you got?
Go to one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. What do you think, Jane?
Well, you know, I keep seeing Pocahontas say, I wasn't part of the tribe, I just misspoke, though that's what my great-great-great-grandmother told me from her grave. I mean, that's just obnoxious, and I was watching a speech with her last night on the news, and
I loved the piece on Fox
this
morning.
Disgusting.
That highlighted her, among others, saying that the presidential candidates are acting like they're running for president of their high school class.
Wait, let me just say here, what Jane is talking about is Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat senator from Massachusetts, that obviously on her state bar application in Texas wrote, Native American, okay,
race,
and
Native
we're going to
American.
fast forward to Pocahontas, right?
Yeah, saying I wasn't part of the tribe. I'm not a part of it.
I like what you just said. They're all running for who can be.
I'm running on a vegan platform. Everybody should be a vegan and no more beef. I'm running on. I had some of the devil's lettuce when I was in college, and I inhaled. Give me a break, folks.
Yeah, I smoked weed. I could roll a doobie.
Yeah,
and I listened to Snoop Dogg and Tupac 2 years before they were even making music.
Exactly. So that's Kamala Harris.
She was really stoned.
You guys, we keep saying
Spartacus Booker.
Spartacus, we must stop the cows and the cheese, man. The cheese has got to end immediately.
Right.
That's Spartacus.
Right.
This is so bizarre.
No more slicing the beef and no more cutting the cheese.
Well,
no more airplanes. No more cars.
That's the Green Deal.
I know, but it's all.
Yeah. Next time you go to Hawaii, you can take the train.
Yeah. Right.
You take
water ski over there.
The defunct train from California, from San Francisco. So here's what I like.
It's just a joke.
All of it is bizarre, and they're saying it out loud.
Yes, they're saying it out loud, and then on this new Green Deal, okay, Cory Booker, and they're all signing on to this new Green Deal, and it's humorous because I heard somebody the other day make a comment that these people go to the grocery store or go to the meat market, and they think the guy in the little white, thing is actually in the back growing the steak that they get. They don't know nothing about Middle America, and they're at the meat market, and I would like that ground chuck at 2 pounds of that, and they think the guy goes in the back and they grow it there or something. But it's really if if you're going to get rid of the cattle and the flatulence, I love the cartoon that's going around social media and the liberal is saying to the cow, I'm looking for the methane, and the cow says, "Pull my hoof." Pull my hoof. I'll get you some methane real quick.
But this whole thing segues in a little bit to the deal that has gone on with Amazon in New York.
Thank you. I was going to go there. Hey. You pronounce her name. You do a great job.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
One more time.
Cortez.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
He does such a great job, folks. She has already lost her district 25,000 jobs. I mean,
but she's happy about it.
She's dancing about it.
She's excited. She lost. And Amazon. Here's the funny thing: is Mario up there? Mario, was that Mario? Is that who it is?
Cuomo.
Yeah, Cuomo. Mario Cuomo.
He is so mad.
He is blowing up. He's so liberal. They're also
how liberal is he?
But they're also liberal. And then you got De Blasio, that is a total whack job. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that is, and they're like, oh, here's the thing: is Amazon, you're liberal too. Why would you do this to us? Because the bottom line, no matter how liberal these corporations come out and Bezos comes out and says things in the Washington Post, it's still about their business and their money.
Greedy corporations,
right? So they're not gonna stay. And here you got de Blasio. Well, they just picked up the phone. I picked up the phone. They said, "We're out of here." Wait a minute. We're all friends. We're all liberals and progressives and everything together. You mean you'll just leave us? Yeah, we're a business. You know, so
Cuomo's got his own battles. I mean, he's got people leaving New York in droves. Yes. Because of the income tax.
And he's admitted it as such. He said that the rich leave, we're up a creek without a paddle.
Well, and he had a meeting with Trump about it, and what did Trump do? He went to the abortion side.
Exactly. So I will say this, it's humorous because they want a rich tax. They want to tax the rich, okay, a millionaire's tax, but the millionaires
are smart enough to leave.
Leaving,
yeah.
And they're in trouble.
Guess what? We got a choice.
That's happening in Connecticut, Rhode Island, California.
Oh, California's got billions of dollars unfunded liabilities that they'll never be able to meet, and that's coming to a head.
I mean, as dumb as Joe Scarborough is, he even left.
Yeah, he went to Florida.
He went to Florida.
Yeah.
I'm not putting up with this.
Why wouldn't you go somewhere else? But remember a long time ago when the elections were kind of going, and we said, well, what's changing the red states are liberal companies coming into and bringing.
Yes, absolutely.
So if I don't want Amazon in Georgia,
nope,
because they're going to bring more liberal voters, and that can change.
I tell you where I'm at on
That's
that.
Pretty
I agree with you, but I want them to come to Georgia if they decide that's where they want to be, and I want all these corporate tax abatement to end. Okay, I want these deals to end all across the country.
You mean the incentives they offer?
Yeah, the tax abatement, right? Okay. The incentives. I want it to end. Now, I understand states are competing for these corporations to come in, and states are competing for them to come in and build their headquarters, and they give them these massive incentives, and then they tell you and I out here that if the people come in, they'll buy houses, they'll pay property tax, they'll do this, and it'll actually work out to the revenue will go up is how they sell us on it. But I think if Amazon wants to come to Georgia, our tax structure should be X. And if you start a business with 12 employees, that's your tax structure. And if you bring 25,000 in, that's your tax structure. Come on in, you're welcome.
You know, but Governor Deal has been lauded for, all this economic growth, but he didn't do it without incentives. Oh, Texas didn't do it without incentives. Yeah, the movie industry's
gotten huge incentives.
And Atlanta is not one of the cities that's chasing after Amazon anymore. Yeah. There's 4 cities. DC.
Nashville and DC, I thought were down.
Nashville was one.
Yeah. Was saying.
But that being said, Amazon, right? I find out that we find out this week. What is it said that they haven't paid taxes in 0 tax in 2 years?
Corporate tax.
Corporate tax.
And so, where would we be if our little corporations didn't pay tax?
Hey, listen. I want to make sure it's clear because there's not enough time. I have a major problem with corporate welfare in this country. Major problem with it, and I know the other people that come out on the stage and yell corporate welfare is not in my group. But I'm going to tell you something. We supplement these corporations, and it needs to just be told we do not need a mandated minimum wage. We do not need a mandated minimum wage. But if we would stop all the subsidies to people, okay, the minimum wage would go to the point for people to live on its own, period, not mandated.
That to me is such a hard definition of what's a wage that people can live, Because if it's just a single guy or a married couple, that's different. You got 3 kids.
So. No. I understand. So I'm not getting down to the dollar, but I'm saying like this. Let me tell you something, okay? You want to go there?
Yeah,
let's go there.
Okay.
You go down there, apartment, $800. You can't have a family of 4. This apartments are $800. I live in LJ. You're having a hard time finding apartments for $600. I'm telling you, it's not very nice. Okay, so you can't even find a house for rent for $800. Bottom line, all right. So you go over to work at one of the big box places, and they say, well, we pay $7.75 an hour. All right. Then you go somewhere and you get a subsidy for that $800. Okay. You get a subsidy for it.
Because the governments are sensitive to the high price of housing.
Absolutely. So you get a subsidy. Okay. Then you get a subsidy for food. And you get a subsidy for this and that. Okay? So realistically, we're meeting the other end of the cost of living, the taxpayers, for the box store, whether you like it or not. I don't know how I sound, but if you have zero subsidies, you don't have all of these, you don't have rent assistance, you've got nothing, then guess what? When you go down to Mr. Employer and you say, I'd like to get a job here as a cashier, we'll use that, and they say we pay $8.50 an hour, that's fine. You just
but there's upside. You could get into management.
Yeah, you can look at it.
Work your way up.
We have to. It's the corporate welfare in this country that the taxpayers pay and supplement is enormous, and it should stop. And then, guess what that's called? And nobody ever wants. That's called true capitalism, and that's true supply and demand. And you walk in and you say, well, you know, I'd love to work here, but my rent's $800 a month, not $400 because it's subsidized. You know, it's $800.
We're getting to Atlas Shrugged territory, aren't we?
Well, I'm just telling you. Sorry, didn't mean to go down that route.
No, but it's.
Do you understand?
But the politicians are complicit in that because they.
Yes, because that keeps the people where they need them.
Yeah, and then they get votes by saying, you know, I'm a champion for the people.
Oh,
I know it's a mess.
It is.
I can reach across the aisle and work with you.
Brooks, stop reaching.
Here's the aisle. Don't reach on my way, all right?
I've asked you to hit him once.
Yeah, I know.
On air. Okay, winners and losers. Final thoughts.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Start over there.
Okay, I just wanted to read a little quote from Ronald Reagan going back to our first segment. Politics is not a bad profession. If you succeed, there are many rewards. If you disgrace yourself, you can always write a book.
And boy, they're all doing it, aren't they?
Yeah. My winner of the week is California citizens for the train thing that's going away, kind of. I mean, they're still on the hook for some because Newsom said, I'm going to continue
bait and switch.
One segment. Yeah, so bait and switch. But
we're running to Sacramento now instead of San Francisco.
Yeah, and the loser, I would say, is Long Island, Sydney, New York. All their dreams and aspirations of Amazon coming in or out the window. Housing rates went up, asking prices for houses, and now they're all singing the blues.
Absolutely.
There you go. Incentives or not.
And my loser of the week's going to be Kamala Harris. She took a pounding on that interview she did with that radio show in the morning. She just took an absolute pounding. And I'll come back to my winner. You go ahead.
Yeah, Kamala's good. AOC is a good loser. I mean, she just made a fool of herself. Yeah, I mean, they've made so many of them have made fools of themselves this last week, in my view, that I think they're just ridiculous.
Well, the crowded ticket's got to make room now for Uncle Joe. He's supposedly going to jump in.
Joe.
Really? Yeah.
Joe.
Stand up,
Joe
Chuck.
Stand up, Chuck.
Stand up, Chuck.
He'll be 77 in November.
That man is a...
You think Joe Biden's getting in?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've heard reports on Fox. They think he's the lead runner. He's
they say this time, if he runs for president, he's already run 8 times or something, jokingly. But they say if Biden runs this time, he may crack that 4% mark. He's always that was his threshold.
4%.
Remember? Biden never could crack double digits when he ran before.
They're going to roll all his creepy Joe pictures, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
You know what? The pictures they're going to run of Joe Biden.
Well, I know where some are. They wouldn't want to.
You know the ones they're going to run. You want to see?
Let me show you.
Yeah.
Listen, there's some that go a little farther down.
Don't hit me. Rick's supposed to hit
I wasn't going to hit you.
You're not supposed to
fondle you.
Some he's completely behind the girl.
Oh my God!
He's a fondler.
Some of those pictures, and when they had
you can't show your grandkids
when they had confirmations or swearing-ins.
Yeah.
Oh,
rubbing the lady's
I was
shoulder.
like, oh my God, Joe, back away.
Did you see?
And there's the one picture where the husband's looking at him like,
he's
and the little
creepy.
girls are like this. But who was the? My brain's going crazy.
Mine is too.
Attorney General Sessions. When Sessions was there, he absolutely took his Biden's hand and knocked it away, just from his granddaughter.
All right, go back. You were losers, winners.
Those were the losers. I'm trying to think of a winner. Someone think.
Help me.
Who?
The name escapes me and it's killing me. Help me, guys. You're going to come up with it in a second. Who was one of the co-star in Forrest Gump? The guy that was
Gary Sinise.
I kept thinking
that guy.
Steve Scalise, and I knew it. Yeah,
Gary Sinise.
He came out with a book this week, and he's going to be my winner because it talked about the foundation that he started with his wife and how much good he does for the veterans.
Amen.
Did Jesse's shaking her head back there?
Yeah,
yes,
he does a lot.
You can talk about it when you come on. The guy is just amazing, and if you can reprise that interview he did on YouTube, and I think it was with Cavuto. He did a brilliant interview.
He did one on Fox and Friends too.
Yeah, and that guy really should be lauded for what he's done for the veterans.
He's done a lot of great work, a.k.a. Captain Dan, right?
There you go.
A.k.a.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan,
yeah. I'm sorry that I couldn't remember the name, but that was my winner.
That's a good winner this week, and I have to go with you on that. That was very good. Did you come up with a winner?
Sounds good.
Hawaii?
Don't waste your winner.
Hawaii
you don't want to waste your... Make me the winner. Vote for me. I'm like Rick said, the high school year. I'm running for a high school class president. Vote for me.
Extra French fries for everybody.
Yeah. I'm going to put a vending machine in.
I think we're kind of in a mess. I don't know if we have a winner. Gary Sinise is a great one.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
There's just so much negative that my brain is in that.
Yeah.
All right, folks, thank you very much. I love the All-Star Political Panel. We have such a great time here. We hope you enjoy this 45 minutes that we get together on Friday. We try to take some serious topics, have a little fun with them, and enjoy it, but at the same time bring some serious information. Now, one thing we did not talk about today, and I want to close with, is, Virginia is no longer just for lovers. You remember, it used to be for lovers, but now it's for, races, Democrat races, sexual predators. The list goes on. And that got pushed off the shelf here a little bit, as Bruce brought up earlier, this coup against the president. Would they get pushed off the shelf? But, you got Ralph Northam there, the Virginia governor. Still yet, I'm amazed at the citizens and the voters of Virginia that you put him in office, and I hope how soon you realize, sorry to say, the mistake you made. There's the abortion issue, don't want to just put it like that started this. There's then the blackface issue, where he was then with the Grand Wizard in a picture of the KKK there in his yearbook. But his interview, okay? And I find it interesting. I make a joke. I call him, I think his name's Justin Fairfax, but I call him Lord Justin Fairfax because he's a descendant of Lord Justin Fairfax. Found out this past week after Ralph Northam, the governor's interview, that he is the great-great-great-grandson of an African indentured servant that came to Virginia. This is what the governor of Virginia said in an interview, that in, I think, 1690, he said celebrate. We're getting ready to celebrate our history of, in 1619, our first indentured servants from Africa. Now, if you studied American history, you see the contract that people were making with the king there to come over here and work for others to pay back debts. I don't think the slaves that got loaded up on a boat signed that contract. And just that alone, I do not understand how this man is in office today. But he's doing a listening tour right now, and he's reading the book Roots by Alex Haley.
You're back with the governor, not Justin Fairfax.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the governor.
He knew that.
Now we gloss clear over the attorney general that thought he was in a rap group and put blackface on, so we've crossed over him. And then now we're back to Lord Fairfax. He is the lieutenant governor. Why's the black guy got to take all the heat? Right? It's like the movies. They always say, Why do you got to kill the black guy first in the movie? So Justin Fairfax right now has two accusers. One says that he raped her. The other one says that he forced her into a sexual act, okay, that she was not wanting to participate in. Period. But here, Justin Fairfax is the one that they may be pushing out the door. It's a mess in Virginia, but that's who they are. That's who the Democrats are in Virginia. That's who they are. You need to know it. And hopefully that will play well in 2020 for Republicans. I think the President of the United States hopefully will tell us something from the Rose Garden. But right now, I do feel this is the first thing in his presidency that does fracture the base. I really do. And I wish him well for the best of our country. And I do hope if he declares a national emergency, which I was hoping he did not, that he will get the money and build the wall. But I think he went backward with some of the percent on the base. Watch the polling this coming week. I'm your host, BKP. Guys, I appreciate you, always do. We're going to take a brief break, and it's time for North Georgia Senior Living with Jesse Barton right after this in the beautiful Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. All right, guys, good?
Good.
Yeah. Say good.
All good.
God bless America.